Greetings, everyone. Well, we are in the middle of tariff turmoil, and we do have a point of view on it, as usual. My name is Kathy Wood. I'm CEO and CIO of ARK Invest. So tariff turmoil. Tariffs are tax increases. Tax increases are bad for economic growth. My former mentor, still mentor, friend, and advisor to ARK is Art Laffer. He just wrote an amazing paper illustrating why tariffs are bad and why this concept that deficits are bad is flawed, trade deficits, that is. In his view, and according to economic theory, the other side of a trade deficit is a capital surplus. So dollars coming back into the U.S. to invest. So when we're buying more goods from other countries and they get dollars, what do they do with those dollars? They recycle them back into the U.S. So investment dollars go back up. For years and years, we've run trade deficits, whether the economy has been in good shape or bad shape. And a part of it is the result of the strength of our economy and the size of our economy relative to those in the rest of the world. And another part of the explanation is that the dollar is the world's reserve currency. And that, too, is a very good thing. So we do believe that this tariff turmoil has created a lot of opportunity for people and economists to study the topic and to come to these sorts of conclusions. So please link to this paper if you are interested in learning more. Just looking at the charts alone will give you a good education on this topic. Where do we think this all will end? Well, we know from his last administration, and even from his recent comments, that President Trump is using two variables to judge his own success: the economy, meaning growth and employment, and the stock market. And throughout tariff turmoil, he's been saying things like, oh, you just wait, the economy is going to boom. The stock market is going to boom. And I think the only way that really happens is if he does have success in negotiating all tariffs and non-tariff trade barriers down so that the globe has a massive tax cut. Now, the reason that might make some sense here is because this fall, we are going to start the campaign season. It's a bit early, but the stakes are very high. The fall campaign season for midterm elections next year. And I do think by that time that President Trump will want to see very good economic growth and a strong stock market that actually has broadened out away from just the Mag 6 and is benefiting many more kinds of stocks. We know that tariffs are, for him, a negotiating tool. And he is using them effectively from an immigration and fentanyl point of view. But these non-tariff trade barriers are also insidious. And I'm sure there are some tough negotiations taking place at this moment in time, given all of the drama. So we know his mindset, growth, and a positive stock market. And so I think he'll want to deliver a lot of good news by the time midterm elections start. And so how does this impact our ETFs? Well, as I always say, innovation gains traction during turbulent times. And tariff turmoil has created turbulent times. Why? Why does innovation gain traction? Well, consumers and businesses are willing to change the way they do things if they are concerned, if they are afraid. They want better, cheaper, faster, more productive, more efficient, more creative products and services. And that is what all of our funds are about. So if we think about the fear of tariffs in the industrial world, well, ARKQ is a good answer to that. Automation. If tariffs are going to increase the costs that companies have to pay, then they are likely more willing to invest in automation, which is a big part of ARKQ's story. In the case of ARKW, well, here again, automation, but in the form of AI. AI is automation personified, and ARKW features AI and all of the ecosystem around AI, as well as, of course, fintech and digital wallets. And then what about ARKG? Well, in addition to tariff turmoil, we now have the threat of broader-based price declines on pharma biotech broadly. Again, how do they cope? Well, they invest in what we're calling the convergence among various sequencing technologies, so DNA, RNA, protein, and so forth, artificial intelligence, to lower costs, to shrink the timelines between discovery and final sales, to discover new molecular diagnostic tests that identify cancer in stage 1, to create cures, including CRISPR gene editing, and really transform healthcare in a way that this administration wants, away from chronic disease to prevention and cures. So again, gaining traction during tough times. Biotech and pharma companies are going to have to pivot, and our companies are the ones to which they will have to pivot, whether it's from the tools point of view to the diagnostics to the cures. So again, innovation gains traction during tough times. Tariff turmoil, tough times, lots of uncertainty. We're actually very optimistic about the future.
节目最后，如果本期资讯对你有所帮助，请您点赞、评论、订阅并打开小铃铛，这样您就不会错过本频道的最新内容。谢谢。